In this video, we are going to learn mixture problems, and in daily life, pharmacists and chemists, they are using a lot about this operation, these problems. And here I try to formalize this one for you. Amount of solution, and if you multiply with the percent that one, you will get the amount of element in the solution. Which element it can be. Here in the questions, we are going to learn with the questions. In the first question it is acid, in the second question it's going to be salt, and different, maybe sometimes alcohol it's going to be. So the amount of the element that we are looking for, we are going to find by amount of the solution times percent. If we solve question, we will understand better. Let's start the question now. A pharmacist has 80 ml of an acid solution which contains 20% acid. How much acid should be added to the solution to make 60% acid solution? Firstly, I need to define here what is solution. The solution means here water and acid together. Water and acid together. So inside the solution we have acid and water. If you want to find define the how much we have acid inside the 80 milliliter, we should multiply the solution, as I wrote here, 80 times the percent is going to be equal to 20%, and it's going to give us the amount of acid, and this is equal to 80 times 20 over 100, you know that one, and that's equal to, if you simplify this one and this one, this one and this one, because this is going to written to up. When you multiply integer by the rational number, it's written to numerator. So when you simplify also this one, the result is going to be 8 times 2 over 1, which is equal to 16. So this is the amount of acid it's going to be, and 16 milliliter is the answer. In the table in your book which is given, also it's showing that one, amount of solution and percent. If you want to find the amount of acid solution, you should multiply amount of solution by the acid, and you will get the amount of acid. Now in the second part of the question, it says that we want to increase the acid solution to 60%. So if increasing the 60% means I need to add acid to the solution. So add acid, and we should make it 60%. And if you have 16 milliliter acid, it means that when you add a new acid, your amount of acid should be 16 plus x. And of course this x, it's going to affect amount of solution, and it's going to be here as normal. It should be 80 plus x, because when you add acid to the solution, you should increase the amount of solution also. Here, if I use this formula again here, and if I use the same formula again here, amount of solution times percent gives amount of acid, which means 80 plus x, this should be in parentheses, times percent is 60%. It's going to give us amount of acid, which is equal to 16 plus x. Okay, then 80 plus x, it's going to be equal to 80 plus x times 60 over 100. It should be 80 plus x times 60 over 100 it must be. And for easy operations, I can simplify this to 60 zeros. I may simplify 6 and 10 when you divide by 2, this will be 3 and this will be 5. So if we leave them here, it's 80 plus x times 3 over 5 is going to be equal to 16 plus x. Of course, the next step, we should send the 5 to the other side, and we should multiply with our acid, amount of acid part. Here I I have to send the other side, and it should be equal to 80 plus x times 3 is going to be equal to 16 plus x times 5. I have to write in parentheses. This is very important. You know that one? Then I'm going to distribute the 3 times 80 is equal to 240. 240 plus 3x is equal to 5 times 16 is equal to, here 5 times 16 is equal to 80. 5 times x is equal to 5x. It's going to be, so if you send 5x to the other side, 3x minus 5x is equal to 80 minus 240 it's going to be, and minus 2x is going to be equal to minus 160, and x is equal to minus 160 over minus 2, which is equal to, x is equal to 80 going to be. So 80 milliliter of acid, if we add to the solution, then the new solution's percent, it's going to be 60%. Now we are going to continue with this question. The logic, it didn't change. I wrote this one before. Here, amount of solution times percentage, it gives us amount of the element, which is salt here. 64 liter of an salt solution contains 25% salt. How much water should be evaporated to make 32% of salt solution? First, the salt solution, we know that it includes water and salt. We know that one. And the second part, the evaporation. Evaporation means boil and lose the water. So we are going to minus the water. This time we are not going to add salt. We are going to decrease the water, and we are going to find the new percent here, which is 32. So firstly, I need to find how much salt I have here. 64 liter times 25% gives us the amount of salt, which is equal to 64 times 25 over 100. And if I can simplify, these are both divisible by 25. This is going to be equal to 1, and 100 divided by 25, 4, and 4 divided by, if I divide 4 by here 64, this is going to be equal to 16, and this is going to be equal to 1. So total amount of the salt, it's going to be equal to 16 at the end. We have 16 liter salt inside the solution. Okay, now I have to evaporate, and I need to find the new percent. Here, as I told before, I'm going to evaporate the water, so here the all amount of solution, it's going to be, we are going to decrease the amount of solution, because amount of solution, it's going to be same, 16. We cannot evaporate salt. The percent we want to increase, which is 32%, and we are going to decrease the amount of solution to get 16 again. So if I have 64 minus x times 32%, it's going to give us again 16. 64 minus x times 32 over 100, it's going to be equal to 16. Here in this operation we have some difficulties, because it's not easy to simplify 32 and 100. This has no zeros. We were simplifying in the previous questions like that, but here as I see we have 16 also. That's why this 16 and 32 we may simplify. This one and this one we may simplify, because they are on the other side and there is a multiplication between these two operations. We are not simplifying the term inside the parentheses. You need to understand that one. And 16 and 32. If you simplify, this is going to be equal to 2 and this is going to be equal to 1. So at the same time, this and this 2 and this 100, if you simplify, this is going to be 1 and this is going to be 50. And we can rewrite like this: 64 minus x times 1 over 50 is going to be equal to 1 when we simplify. And now we are going to send 50 to the other side, which is because this is 64 minus x over 50. It's going to be is equal to 1. To find the x value, I need to send 250 to the other side and I need to multiply, which is equal to 64 minus x is equal to 50 times 1. 50 times 1, it's going to be, okay, then 64 minus x is going to be equal to 50 minus 1, which is 50 times 1, sorry. 64 minus x may go to other side. Minus x is equal to 50 minus 64. Minus x is equal to minus 14, and x is equal to 14. So 14 liter water must be evaporated and we will get 32% of solution. Okay, now a pharmacist has 20 liter of colonial alcohol solution and containing 70%, and 60 liter of colonial alcohol solution containing 80% of alcohol. The solutions are mixed. What is the new percent of alcohol in the new colonia? Here the amount of solution times percent gives us amount of alcohol. We know that one. This time the solution is given also colonia and alcohol solution. So we have alcohol and colonia inside the solution. So amount of solution for the first one, it's going to be equal to 20%, 20 liters of the solution with the 70%, and the amount of the solution is going to be equal to 20 times 70 over 100. 0, 0 we simplified with these zeros, so 2 times 17 is going to be equal to 14 liter. 14 liter of an alcohol we have inside the colonial alcohol solution. And for the second one, if I do the same thing here, for the second one, amount of solution is 60 liter, and the percent is 80%, and the amount of alcohol is going to be equal to 60 times 80%, it's equal to 80 over 100, we know that one. This 0 and this 0, this one and this one, if we simplify, 6 times 8 is going to be equal to 48 liter going to be. Now, as you understand from the solutions, now this is the first solution, this is the second solution, and now we are going to mix the solution. If we are going to mix the solution, which means again we are going to apply the same formula, we are going to decide about the percentage. If we here, this is the last one, amount of solution. Now if I have amount of two solutions, 20 liter and 60 liter, when I mix them, I am going to have 20 plus 60 milliliter amount of solution. And the percentage, I don't know. This is going to be the X% for us. And the amount of alcohol, it's going to be here 14 plus 48. Because in the first solution I have 14 liter, in the second solution I have 48 liter. So the amount of alcohol is going to be 14 plus 48 liter is going to be. So 20 plus 60, it's going to be equal to 80 times x over 100 is equal to 14 plus 48, it's going to be 62. Okay, then this 0 and this 0, if you divide here, 80 plus x, it's going to be equal to, 80 times x is equal to 8x over 10, which is equal to 62, and 10 will go to other side as a multiplication. 8x, 80 times x is equal to 62 times 10, and here x is equal to, we need to divide now, x is equal to 62 times 10 over 8. As I told you before, in many operations I'm going to prefer not to multiply the terms because it's easy to simplify than to do operations. 10 and 8 you may simplify. 5 and 4 because they are both divisible by 2. 62 and 4, if you simplify, this is going to be equal to 2, and this is going to be equal to 31, and the value of x is equal to 31 times 5, it's going to be 3 times 30, it's equal to 150. 3 times 1 is equal to 5, so the answer is 155. 155 over 2, it's going to be, if I divide if we know now decimals also, it's going to be equal to 77.5 is going to be.